Celine called about her daughter's wedding. Honestly, the thought of getting dressed up, trying to look cheerful, and having to make small talk with 100 distant relatives just makes my stomach clench. 3 weeks before the month starts, she said? 3 weeks isn't enough time to get my head right. It wasn't enough time even if Robert wasn't locked up and Charmaine wasn't fighting for a life with lawyers. It's the performance I dread. I know I should be happy for my niece, and deep down I am. But this isn't just a party. It's a huge public gathering where everyone expects you to be completely present and joyful. I can already hear the whispers. Doesn't Mariam look tired? Or, worse, the well-meaning horrible questions. How is Robert doing? I avoid being asked about it at church, but at a family wedding, there's no escape. Everyone will know everything, and they'll feel entitled to ask. I called Charmaine to talk about it, and she sounded just as exhausted. She's worried about taking time off work for the divorce appointments, let alone trying to find a dress for a fancy wedding. She said maybe we could just send a nice gift and stay home. But then the guilt starts. Celine is my sister. We have our problems, but you go to your niece's wedding. It's what you do. It's an obligation. One of the last big ones left. I keep thinking about Frank and the donuts. That unexpected hit of grief was easier to manage than the stress of this wedding. Grief is personal, quiet. This wedding is loud and demanding. It forces me to put aside my own need for rest and my own serious problems to celebrate someone else's happiness. It feels selfish to say that, but it's the simple truth. All I want is to focus on getting myself to that therapist's office, starting to work on how to deal with the constant guilt from Robert, and maybe finding a way to truly comfort Charmaine. I need to focus on what's breaking, not what's celebrating. And the preparation, I need to find something appropriate to wear, something that doesn't scream depressed grandmother. I need to worry about travel, about where I'll stay. It all feels too big, too much administration for a brain that's already maxed out trying to handle a divorce decree and a bail hearing. I told Celine I'd think about it. I didn't commit. I just bought myself a little time. I'm starting to learn that the word no might be the only real tool I have left for achieving that peaceful life I keep praying for. But saying no to family, especially an event like a wedding, feels like lighting a match to a whole other fire. I just need to decide which is less stressful, the wedding or the fallout from skipping it.
Sometimes I wake up and it just feels like too much work to simply be. 78 years old. I always thought by now the struggle would slow down, that life would settle into a nice, gentle rhythm. Instead, it feels like the waves are getting bigger, not smaller. Charmaine came over this morning, my daughter. She looked worn out, pale around the eyes. I knew something was wrong the second she walked in the door. Said she needs a divorce. Needs one, not wants one, like it's a necessary surgery. I didn't even know things were that bad. They seem fine. But then again, what do I know about anyone's life but my own anymore? And even that is a puzzle half the time. It just feels like another heavy stone dropped on the pile I'm already carrying. I look at her and I think, oh, Charmaine, not this, not now. It's not the worry of the paperwork or the money, though that's awful too. It's the thought of her being alone, starting over again. She's not a young woman anymore. And it's the thought of Janet, my granddaughter, being pulled apart by it all. She's just a child, really, even if she acts like she knows everything. And then there's Robert, my son. Just the word arrested feels cold and wrong, like a word that belongs in a newspaper story, not in my life. I don't know all the details, but I know it's bad enough that he's sitting in some awful place tonight instead of in his own bed. I keep calling his lawyer, or what they call his public defender, and getting nowhere. Just a lot of formal, meaningless talk. I'm too old for this kind of anxiety. It sits in my chest like a block of ice and won't melt. I lost his father a few years ago, my Frank, and I thought that was the worst it could get. The quiet in this house after he left was deafening. But this is different. This is an active, ongoing kind of pain. A worry that keeps me staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m, wondering where I went wrong. Did I teach him enough? Did I hug him enough? It's always about the children, isn't it? Even when they're grown and should be fine on their own, they still manage to break your heart in new ways. All I truly want is less stress and a peaceful life. Is that asking for too much at my age? I don't think it is. I earned my quiet. I just wish I knew how to claim it.
I made a firm decision about the wedding. I called Celine this morning. I kept it brief. I told her that due to some ongoing family crises and my own health concerns, which is true because my stress is a health concern, I would not be able to attend the wedding next month. I was polite, but I was firm. She was predictably hurt and a little cold. She asked if I was just being dramatic about Robert, and I simply said, Celine, I wish I were, but this is where I have to focus my energy right now. I told her I love my niece and that a generous gift was on the way. It wasn't easy. I could hear the disappointment in her voice, and I know she'll be talking about this to the whole family. But when I hung up the phone, the relief was immediate. A huge pressure I didn't even realize I was carrying was just gone. I chose peaceful life over family obligation, and that felt right. The therapist's words helped me see that protecting my own stability is the way to support my children right now, not running myself ragged trying to fix everything. I applied the same logic to the prison visit. I am not going, not right now. I had a difficult but clear conversation with Charmaine. I told her that I love Robert, but I cannot handle the emotional fallout of that visit, especially after the guilt trip he sent through his child. I asked her to please call him for me, to tell him that I am not abandoning him, but that I am taking some space to stabilize myself so I can be there for the long haul. I told her to make it clear that I will help with the legal bills and the practical stuff, but I won't be used as an emotional punching bag anymore. Charmaine was surprisingly supportive. She said, Mom, you're right. You done enough. Let me handle him. It was a relief to hear her say that. She needs me to be strong and calm right now, not another emotional wreck she has to worry about. This period of my life, my late 70s, is about survival and preservation, not about constantly performing for everyone else. I still miss Frank every day, and I still miss Cynthia like a limb. But the crisis surrounding my children finally feels manageable because I put up a wall. It's a sad thing to have to do, but it's necessary. I'm going back to the meditation center tomorrow morning, not caring if those ladies think I look tired, because I'm going for myself this time, not for show. I'm going to spend my last years peaceful. I'm choosing to believe that.